Hi everyone. So I recently just read through the entirety of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Now if you want to watch my blind reaction to those series, there's a couple of links down below in the description. You can go ahead and watch those. This is my follow-up video to those two. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention, but I cut it out of the videos because I didn't want to make it too long. Also, I have some thoughts after just having some time to reflect on things, and a lot of you guys ask me things in the comments, so I kind of want to address a couple of things. Like, will I ever watch the movies? Am I going to play the video game? And am I going to read Dragon Ball Super in a week? First, I think it's appropriate in starting off this video answering the question, did I even like the series? No, I really liked the series. Gotcha. Or maybe I didn't, I don't know. Out of the two halves of the Dragon Ball narrative, I definitely prefer Dragon Ball Z over the original Dragon Ball. I really don't think that is a crazy take. OG Dragon Ball was really cute, it's really fun, very adventurous, but a lot of my favorite things that came from the entirety of the Dragon Ball narrative came from the end of OG Dragon Ball and from the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god, Akira Toriyama was cooking when he was making the later half of Dragon Ball. From here on out, I'm mainly going to be talking about Dragon Ball Z because I don't really have too much more to say about the original Dragon Ball story, so hopefully Dragon Ball Z is the stuff you're hoping I was going to talk about. When looking at the Dragon Ball Z story, I like to split it up into 4 different sections. We have the Saiyan saga, the Frieza saga, the Cell saga, and then the Buu saga. I wanted to do something fun for this video and talk about the things that stood out for me for each of these sagas and rank them. So let's start off with my least favorite saga, the Buu saga. I mentioned in my Dragon Ball Z video that I felt like this saga was a little unnecessary and felt like it was tacked on at the very end. And though there's a lot of great moments and some really amazing character payoffs, like, oh my god, we had so many great moments with Vegeta's character. After a couple weeks of reflection and sitting with the story, I still can say it does feel like it was tacked on at the very end, but I don't mind it. Like, I am really happy that it was included in the story of Dragon Ball. Mainly because Buu is a very fun villain. He is super menacing, and I really liked his transformations. Most of the characters in this story go through a bunch of different transformations. We had Frieza doing it, we had Cell, and now we have Buu. I like Buu's different transformations the most. His were the coolest. The others kind of had a bit of a goofy appearance. Kid Trunks and Goten were 2 giant standouts in this arc. Their inclusion was honestly so silly. And as a result, they added a really fun dynamic to the overall serious tone that this arc was going for. In this arc, we got to see the iconic fusion ability. And honestly, I'm a little underwhelmed by it. I do think it's cool, the idea of taking 2 characters and fusing them together to make one super powerful character. But realistically, I feel like it didn't really matter in this arc. It was pretty exciting seeing Trunks and Goten fuse with one another, and later on Vegeta and Goku fusing with one another. Wow! Such an amazing moment. But Vegeta and Goku didn't even use that ability to ultimately defeat Buu, leaving this thought in my mind of, was the fusion ability even really needed? Do we really need to spend time fleshing out this aspect of the story? It's cool, don't get me wrong, but we didn't even use it to beat the bad guy. So what was the point? I am curious if in later iterations of the story, we get more emphasis on the fusion ability. Maybe we will be able to go more in depth on how powerful this is. And maybe Goku and Vegeta are going to face an enemy where they actually need to fuse. Like, on their own, Vegeta and Goku can't do anything about it. But when they do fuse, they actually can take out the enemy. Like, it's the only way to take out the enemy. See, that would be cool, but we didn't really get that in the saga. But that's okay, because I do like how we did end the battle with Buu losing to a giant spirit bomb created by Goku and all of the people on Earth. That was a really nice moment. Good job, Akira Toriyama. Next up, the Saiyan saga. This is my 3rd favorite saga. I really like how this arc kickstarted things off. It's also the first saga where we got introduced to my GOAT, Gohan. Oh my god, he's so cool. Seeing Goku and Piccolo team up was really satisfying, and I just love how this arc fleshed out the world even more. Goku, apparently this whole time, had an older brother. That was such an amazing twist. Very short-lived, but still cool nonetheless. Goku is apparently a Saiyan, one of the final members of a dying breed. Vegeta is another Saiyan. He was a character I was looking forward to so much when reading this story, and I genuinely think he exceeded my expectations and even more. Vegeta was so awesome. Gohan and Piccolo were definitely my 2 standouts of the arc. I didn't know that their dynamic was something I would ever want, but now that I have it, I can't live without it. I've been thinking about these 2 ever since I finished reading Dragon Ball Z. The bond that these 2 characters share for one another was genuinely something special in my eyes. I just really love seeing how excited Gohan would get when he saw Piccolo, and how Piccolo had this like tough demeanor about him, but whenever he saw Gohan, he would just become a little softy. Oh my god, it was so adorable. Overall, it was a very solid arc, and that final battle with Nappa and Vegeta versing the Goku squad, wow, what an insane shift in tone in the story. The battle was so much more intense, so much more serious. A lot of the characters we spent so much time with learning and developing just died in this arc. That's crazy. Really cool arc, pretty short, but it was fun nonetheless. My second favorite saga has to be the Frieza saga. The start of this arc is a bit slow. It takes a little bit of time ramping up in my eyes, but I did like how different it felt from the rest of the arcs previous to it. There was a very clear goal on what we needed to accomplish. The entirety of the arc was on a completely different planet, and while we're trying to complete our mission, there is practically enemies lurking everywhere. The good majority of this arc is a giant cat and mouse chase for the 7 Dragon Balls. It's kind of fun at the beginning, but it starts to get old really quickly. But Frieza, oh my god, he is such a great villain. A perfect mixture of someone that's super silly, but also very horrifying. Like when he first appeared on screen, I genuinely couldn't take him seriously. I was like, really? This is the guy? But I guess when people say don't judge a book by its cover, it is very true, because Frieza is him. Frieza was so powerful and scary, and learning the lore about how he was the one who killed all of the Saiyans and blew up the planet Vegeta that they lived on was such a fun detail added to the story. Vegeta gets so much time to shine in this arc. Due to there being a villain that is stronger than him, he is now forced to be an ally with Team Goku as opposed to being an enemy to Team Goku, which was actually really genius. I feel like it was a really nice and effective way of giving time and fleshing out both of these two characters. Goku in this arc goes Super Saiyan. Oh my god. What a moment this was. The final battle between these two incredibly strong individuals as they fight to beat the other person on top of the surface of a dying planet. As a fellow boy, a part of the boys community, I would like to approve this moment as being dope as fuck. I will also give bonus points to the saga for killing Krillin. I don't know why. I just really like the fact that Krillin blew up in this arc. Let's talk about my favorite saga, the Cell saga. Oh my god. We got the introduction of Trunks. We got Gohan versus Cell. Mr. Satan was introduced into the story, who is like the greatest hero in all of Dragon Ball. Also, the quest for Cell becoming Perfect Cell was genuinely just really entertaining. This was also the only arc where I genuinely was feeling this level of confusion of how are they going to actually beat Cell. Goku isn't able to do it. So when the twist occurs and we find out that Gohan is actually the one who is in charge of beating Cell, I genuinely was just so shocked, so confused, and I just had to keep reading, which was just a really nice feeling. Are we really putting all of our trust in Gohan? I mean, look, he is dope as hell, but he is also just a kid. Really? This was the best plan we had? Cell was an absolute menace. I really loved how evil this character was. I know that this arc isn't the most special thing in the world. It's actually rather simple, but it's been a couple of weeks since I finished Dragon Ball Z, and I just cannot stop thinking about Gohan beating Perfect Cell with that final father-son Kamehameha. That manga panel is just imprinted in my mind. It is so cool. Absolute cinema. Now then, will I ever play the games? Yes. I really want to play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That was actually kind of the thing that kickstarted me wanting to read the story of Dragon Ball anyway, just because I thought that game looked super cool. Haha, gamer for life. The only reason why I haven't picked up the game and started playing it yet is just because I'm afraid of spoilers. I'm really scared that I'm going to start up this game and then I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. So far, everything past the point of Dragon Ball Z, I actually don't really know what happens. Like, I know a couple of characters and their names and their designs, but I don't actually know how they interact with one another, and I don't really know anything major that happens in any of the stories, and I really want to keep it that way, so please don't say anything in the comments below or I will hate you. Next question, am I planning on watching the movies? Yeah, I really do want to watch the movies. I actually kind of want to watch them right now, but I don't really know if I'm allowed to watch them right now. Am I gonna get spoiled if I try to watch the movies right now? I know a couple of years ago, there was this Dragon Ball movie that was out in theaters and everyone was going crazy about that one. Am I allowed to watch that one? Because there was so much hype around that one and I never checked it out because I didn't even know Dragon Ball Super in a week. Do I have plans on reading it anytime soon? I will read the series and make a video for it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it anytime soon. There's a couple of other series that I've been kind of wanting to check out, but I've been putting it off just to focus on Dragon Ball. So I kind of want to go and make some other videos and step away from the Dragon Ball franchise just for a bit. And then maybe one day I will revisit it talking about the movies and Dragon Ball Super. That's kind of just where I'm at right now. My main goal was to just make a video on both of the box sets and we did it. So I just feel pretty satisfied with the Dragon Ball niche for right now. Overall, the story of Dragon Ball was pretty good and surprisingly holds up very well to stuff that's even coming out today. I would argue that Dragon Ball is better than a lot of the things that are currently being released, which is just genuinely crazy. One final thing before I end off this video. In my Dragon Ball Z video, I said that Gohan was a beast, and so many of you guys are commenting down below saying, haha, it's so funny you said that. What the hell did I say? I don't know, and I kind of don't want to search it up. That's the Dragon Ball arc on the Teniz YouTube channel. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of the year. Become a channel member, hit subscribe, and go watch some of my other videos.